Imagine a film that doesn't just blur the line between the living and the dead, but erases it entirely, creating a haunting meditation on guilt, justice, and the price of moral cowardice. Clint Eastwood's 1973 directorial effort, High Plains Drifter, is far more than a conventional Western. It's a supernatural reckoning, a ghost story wrapped in the dusty trappings of frontier mythology, and perhaps one of the most unsettling explorations of collective guilt ever committed to celluloid. For 50 years, High Plains Drifter has stood as one of cinema's most enigmatic and controversial westerns, dividing critics and audiences with its dark vision and morally ambiguous protagonist. But as the decades have passed, a crucial question emerges. Does this haunting tale of supernatural vengeance still resonate with contemporary audiences? Join me as we venture into the blood-red streets of Lago to uncover the enduring mysteries of a film that dared to transform the Western into something far more unsettling and unforgettable. When High Plains Drifter rode into theaters in April 1973, it arrived at a pivotal moment in American cinema. The country was reeling from Vietnam and Watergate, and audiences were increasingly skeptical of traditional heroic narratives. The Western was undergoing profound transformation, with the clean moral certainties of John Ford giving way to the morally complex landscapes of Peckinpah and Leone. Into this environment stepped Eastwood, making his first foray as director into the genre that had made him famous. Working from a screenplay by Ernest Tidyman, the Oscar-winning writer of The French Connection, Eastwood crafted something that was, in one critic's words, really only a Western on paper. Yes, there were horses and saloons, but beneath these familiar trappings lurked something far more unsettling. A ghost story that used frontier iconography to explore themes of collective guilt and supernatural justice. The film's origins trace back to a real-world tragedy that haunted Tidyman, the 1964 murder of Kitty Genovese in Queens, where witnesses reportedly watched without intervening. This incident became the psychological foundation for the film's central premise. What happens to a community that stands by and watches evil triumph? Tidyman and Eastwood transformed this urban nightmare into a frontier allegory, creating the town of Lago, where moral cowardice has literally damned its inhabitants. What makes High Plains Drifter truly remarkable is how Eastwood created a visual language that perfectly serves the film's supernatural themes. Drawing from his experiences with Leone and Siegel, he crafted a directorial style possessed of an eerie, dreamlike quality. From the opening shot, as the mysterious stranger emerges from a shimmering heat haze like an apparition, Eastwood establishes the blurring of boundaries between the real and supernatural, the living and the dead. Bruce Surtees's cinematography creates an almost hallucinogenic quality that sets the film apart. The heat distortion effects aren't just atmospheric flourishes, they're visual metaphors for the stranger's otherworldly nature. When he rides into Lago, he materializes from the air itself. When he departs, he dissolves back into the desert like a mirage. This reinforces the film's central ambiguity. Is the stranger flesh and blood, or something more supernatural? Eastwood's use of color is equally masterful. The decision to paint the entire town blood red isn't just striking. It's a literal manifestation of the town's guilt, transforming Lago into a vision of hell on Earth. D. Barton's sparse, discordant score abandons traditional Western melodies for unconventional instruments and eerie sound effects, creating an auditory landscape that becomes part of the film's psychological assault on both characters and audience. At its core, High Plains Drifter is a profound meditation on guilt, complicity, and justice itself. The town of Lago isn't just a setting, it's a community that sold its soul for economic prosperity. The backstory reveals the full extent of their corruption. Marshal Jim Duncan was murdered by the very people he was sworn to protect. When Duncan discovered the town's gold mine was illegally operating on government land, threatening their livelihood, the townspeople hired outlaws to eliminate him, then betrayed those same outlaws to avoid payment. This theme of collective guilt transforms the film from simple revenge story into something far more complex. The stranger doesn't just punish Duncan's direct killers, he forces the entire community to confront their complicity. His seemingly arbitrary demands, like appointing the dwarf Mordecai as sheriff and mayor, or painting the town red, aren't random acts of chaos, but calculated moves to strip away respectability and reveal the moral rot beneath. The film's exploration of justice is equally complex. Traditional Western justice has already failed. Duncan is dead, murdered by those he tried to protect. What emerges is something more primal, supernatural vengeance operating outside conventional morality. The stranger's methods are brutal, yet the film presents them as cosmic justice, a reckoning the living world couldn't provide. Most disturbing is the suggestion that this supernatural justice isn't just deserved but necessary. The townspeople had their chance to do right and failed, creating a moral vacuum only something beyond human law could fill. But in the end, how does High Plains Drifter hold up for contemporary audiences? The film's themes have only become more relevant. In an era concerned with collective responsibility and institutional complicity, the film's exploration of how communities become complicit through silence speaks directly to modern discussions about bystander responsibility and moral compromise. The supernatural elements now read as powerful metaphors for how past injustices continue to haunt the present. However, certain aspects may challenge contemporary viewers. The stranger's treatment of women, particularly the controversial rape scene, reflects attitudes many modern audiences find problematic. While these elements can be read as part of the film's moral ambiguity, the fact still remains that this scene felt incredibly confronting and uncomfortable to watch, and I anticipate this will serve as a barrier to a few watchers. While I love the idea of a film depicting a character that is more or less the essence of revenge and evil, this scene's inclusion was something I probably could have gone without. Similarly, the film's matter-of-fact brutality may disturb some viewers. Yet these challenging elements are part of what makes the film unique. It doesn't seek to comfort but forces viewers to confront uncomfortable questions about justice and morality. Eastwood's performance as the stranger represents a fascinating evolution of his man-with-no-name persona, taking moral ambiguity to its logical extreme. Where Leone's protagonists were mysterious but ultimately heroic, the stranger operates entirely outside conventional morality. Eastwood's deliberately opaque performance reveals nothing of the character's inner life. He moves like a force of nature, implacable and unknowable. The supporting cast provides crucial emotional grounding. Verna Bloom delivers a nuanced performance as Sarah Belding, caught between loyalty to her husband and understanding of the town's corruption. She serves as the film's moral compass, the one person capable of genuine remorse. Billy Curtis as Mordecai represents the film's theme of power inversion, rising from town outcast to ultimate moral authority. High Plains Drifter's influence on subsequent cinema cannot be overstated. It established a template for supernatural westerns that influenced everything from Eastwood's own Pale Rider to recent entries like Bone Tomahawk. Its genre-blending approach paved the way for 1970s experimentation, while its exploration of collective guilt influenced horror films and thrillers. Most importantly, it established Eastwood as a director willing to take artistic risks, proving audiences hungered for complex, challenging genre entertainment. As the dust settles and heat haze shimmers across the desert, we're left with the haunting echo of a film that dared to transform the Western into something far more unsettling and profound. High Plains Drifter stands as testament to Eastwood's artistic courage, refusing easy answers while forcing us to confront uncomfortable truths about guilt, complicity, and moral cowardice. This isn't a Western for those seeking reassuring certainties. There are no clear heroes, no noble lawmen, no communities worth saving. Instead, we find a morally compromised world where justice comes not from human institutions but supernatural forces operating outside conventional morality. In an age increasingly aware of institutional corruption and collective complicity, the film's premise feels more relevant than ever. If you've never experienced this haunting journey into supernatural justice, I strongly encourage you to seek it out. It's a film that demands attention and rewards it with an unforgettable exploration of guilt, justice, and moral compromise. High Plains Drifter reminds us that the best genre films don't just entertain, they challenge, provoke, and force us to examine our own moral assumptions. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this haunting masterpiece. Do you see it as a ghost story, Western, or something altogether different? And how do you interpret the stranger's true nature and the film's ultimate message? Share your thoughts in the comments below. As always, if you enjoyed this deep dive into the shadows of Western cinema, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, this is Slow Dusk, signing off.